What's going on, Nose? It's the work edition. Now, we know, I think we all came across Anthony Edwards talking about Michael Jordan and, his counterparts during that time span, 80s, early 90s, late 90s. We know the competition he had. I think it was Dumars, Drexler, Byron Russell. He played against him twice in the finals. We know those guys wasn't the most athletic. Reggie Miller, I think he played against him in the Eastern Conference or something, him and Jalen Rose. I'd say Jalen Rose is more athletic than Reggie, but even during that time, those guys wasn't nowhere near on the level of a Michael Jordan. If you look at the NBA currently, you wouldn't say a Malik Monk is on the level of a LeBron James, a Paul George, or a Kevin Durant. So it's like the competition versus, the competition wasn't that steep back then. It was a lot more so about physical attributes. How big are you? How much can you beat somebody up? As far as, speed, talent, and those things, wasn't really merged into the NBA then. So Jordan was like the one-on-one, the first of his kind. So, everybody is pretty much talking about, even, on one of KG's podcasts, he was just talking about a lot of these guys wouldn't make it back then. And I totally disagree. I think a lot of us disagree once we actually go back and watch those films. Even if you go back and watch Jordan, I think it was a fact that, they didn't let a lot of talented, athletic players during Jordan's time into the league because they knew that would stunt Jordan's growth. Jordan had this thing where he was the first. He was the first with the shoe. He was the first to keep his mouth closed. So, I think they rewarded him for things like that and told him he would have, a legacy unlike any other player ever. And if you look at the NBA, you had Shaq. Shaq did a three-peat, but he was Shaq. It wasn't the same as a Jordan skill set. Shaq was just dominant and big. Literally, no one could stop him. Then if you add Kobe in there, Kobe came along, I'll say his second and third year. He was really like Kobe Bryant, more so his third year, and during that championship. The third championship was what I'm saying. So when you just factor all that in, I think the Bulls, and then it was LA. That's when Shaq went on a three-peat, when he went to LA, and that's when Jordan retired. So, I watched the rookie Allen Iverson do Jordan nasty, and he didn't have nobody on his team. He was a rookie. So just imagine a 3-4 year Allen Iverson playing against a 8, 9, 10 year vet in Jordan. And you get Allen Iverson a Dennis Rodman. You get Allen Iverson, Scottie Pippen. You don't think Allen Iverson would win championships during that era? So it's just, a debate of, I would say, non-athletic, more physical attributed teams, during the 80s and the 90s, and here in the 2000s, we have a lot of speed, a lot of athleticism. These guys can jump, land, run back up the court, play defense. It was more so an up and down thing, supposed to, in the 80s and 90s, it was more so a half court thing. They wasn't running up and down the court as much. They didn't have to, snatch a rebound, run down the court and shoot a three. You didn't have that type of transition then. So, a lot of older guys, they would say, Jordan was this, Jordan was that. But, just being honestly looking at it, you wouldn't say Jordan played against a top 5 guard. Like how you would, almost, torch LeBron for losing so many finals. LeBron played against top 5 competition, possibly of all time. Nowadays, when we look at a Kevin Durant, when we look at, a Kobe Bryant, we're saying to ourselves, like, these guys are top 5 in their positions. Even if Carmelo Anthony was to go back and play during those times, I think Carmelo Anthony would have won a championship with his skill set and his athleticism. But, a lot of those teams back then didn't have that athleticism nor skill set to hit a step back, to even, dribble, step back, dribble again, drive to the cup. A lot of things was just surely based on strength and, I would say more so just a whole physical attribute of beating somebody up back then. And that's why they changed the Jordan rule. Even if you go back and look at a lot of games Jordan played, a lot of those fouls were senseless. They didn't even touch Jordan. So you can tell it was an image put out like Jordan is our model for what we're advertising towards the future, these type of guys. And then you got the Vince Carters, and then you might have the Paul Georges, you have the Zach LaVines, things that come with other than skill, athleticism, physicality as well, but that's my take on it, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think on the noses. I want y'all to like my channel, my video, like y'all like the porn sites, like y'all like y'all girl best friend when she come over and shit, share my video too.